Hello guys, and welcome back to another tutorial on the line drawer series. So in this episode I want to clean up some of what we did in the last episode, reorganize where bus is so that we can prepare what to do with what we're going to do next. And then we will add on the rest of the loop logic that we need. And then we should do a test run where we can see if the output is the last output point is x1, y1. And if we know we start at x0, y1 and it ends up at x0, y0, and we end up at x1, y1, well, then we knew that it probably drew the right line if it's bounded within those points. If the end point is not x1 and y1 and it's something vastly different, then obviously we screwed up. And so that can give us a sign of what's going on before we hook up any sort of screens to it. So let's go ahead and start doing that. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is we're going to want to grab this Inc S bus, and we're going to want it to be over here next to the Inc D output. And to do that, we're going to have to move some stuff out of the way. So the easiest way to do it is we can just grab this here, pull it back, grab this, move it over here for now, and then we'll just pull this back even further just to make sure that it keeps the wires attached. And what we can do is, hopefully, I believe this is where we can grab from. Yep. I'll just pull this out and over. For now, everything should still remain connected there, and it does. Oh, we have an issue with these wires here. So we will end up moving that back a little bit. Huh. Oh yeah, let's do it like this. T, E, E, E. Oh, why is it not working? There we go. Shift E, and we want to get it lined up right on that border right there. And I still messed up. So we want to get this, press G, Shift E, hold Control, line up right on the edge. And we're going to want to grab these, connect them back to here, and they don't reach, so we'll figure out something in the meantime. G, Shift E, for some reason it doesn't like that rotation. Now it should be possible to grab. Cool. Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to get this Inc S bus. We want this coming through here. So really, if we can just G, pull this over a bit, maintain all the connections, which it looks like it did, and then grab this. Pull that out like that. Cool. And actually get rid of that. G, R, G, R. And then grab this. Move it over a bit. And now we can reline this back up. On that edge. G, Shift E, oops. T, Shift E, there we go. And that's kind of annoying. I think we need to be over offset one like that. Wow, and it actually maintained connection. Cool. And we can pull that back. Okay, so we have reorganized this bus to be next to Inc D. Now we can move on with the next part of the loop. Alright guys, so to start off this next part, we're going to need to build an adder. And we already have that adder subtractor module that we built over here, so what I'm going to do is just grab a single bit off it, Control G, I'll rotate this around, press T, get it moved over. Alright, so what I want to do is get rid of this, press V and resize this board, do the same here, and then we'll just stick 2 pegs on it here, wire up the inputs. Cool. So there's our adder. And now we will stack this. Press T, E, 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 Shift E, and hold over. And now let's check which one our carry out is and our carry in is. So we'll just tie a 1 to both these inputs. And that's our carry out. So carry out goes to carry in like that. Boom. Okay, so that's how we stack it. Press G. There. oops, Control G. Control G. Grab another 4. Actually, I really only need another 3. And then there's our 12-bit adder. So now we have a full 12-bit adder and the output. Now what do we need to do with it? Well, if we look at the algorithm, we're either adding IncD or IncS, which means we need a mux on one of the inputs to the adder, and the mux is choosing between IncD or IncS depending on some of this condition. And then the default into the adder is error, and so into this register is error. So we basically need a register that we're updating by adding this increment of IncD or IncS to it. So we'll grab this and stack it vertically. A little painful, but just whatever. Okay. Just get it vertical for now. So what we need to do, like I said, is we need a mux now between IncD and IncS. And then we need to, so CMPT, so we need to start this thing off at error. So we're gonna need this error bus. Okay, well this error output is this guy here. So what we can do is we have our mux here that we built previously for this part of the logic over here. So we can grab this mux, Control G, oops, Control G, bring that over here. We'll bring it out just to wire it up and then we'll pull it in when we're done. So what are we muxing? We're muxing IncD and IncS. So here's IncD. So that goes to one input here. And then we're muxing IncS onto the other side, which is this guy. Now, what the heck is going on here? So it got a little carried away on what it wanted to connect there. I don't understand why, but okay. Fix that. Oh, looks good to me now. Okay, so we have the mux that'll allow us to switch between either IncD or IncS, but now we also need a enable on the error output here to come in as well. So basically what we can do is Control G on this, and then just press R, get rid of all these secondary ones, and then we can get rid of the components here. And then we can press V and then resize all the boards. Cool. So now what we can do is just grab this, bring that here, and wire the output of this. The input here. That. So now we have IncD, IncS, CMPT, and we should probably label that. D, IncS, error. Okay. Now to move on to the next part. Okay, so next what we need to do is basically we want this error to come into the register on the reset to initialize it. So we want this output here to be true. I guess we can do something like this. Connect that down to that guy and bring that up. Like this. Now that's true on reset, and reset's true here. So we can try to get that brought over from here. Boom. So on reset, we're going to load that into the register, which means we need a register after this. So now we can go ahead and build one like this. The easiest way, in my opinion, would be to press V and pull that out a little bit. and then do something like this. And maybe you can even then pull that back, just make it 2. So go ahead and pull out 2 like that on all of them. Okay, now let's place those D flip-flops. And now we'll just hold control, select all of them going up like that. We already did the bottom one. Cool. Just to double check, yep, we did the bottom one. And now we can tie all these together. Apparently there's a way to use the multi-wire placement to do this, but I still haven't figured it out. Even though people have told me, I still can't understand how to do it. Anyway, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be loading this value into this register on the reset, which is what's coming in right now. And then the output of this value goes into this one of these inputs, and then whichever one of these we're currently picking goes into this as well. So you'll see we're going to need to grab this. Will it come back on? Cool. Okay. Now hopefully, I don't know if it will, but we'll try it and see if we get any connection. No, just the top one. So grab the bottom board, pull it over, try that again. All but 2, and we can make that work easily. This one isn't reaching there, but it'll reach. Oops. I'm sure it'll reach there. G. A little over a bit. Oops, missed. Went over too much. There we go. Now we'll grab this one, bring it over a bit. Boom. Okay. Now they're all connected. No mistakes. Now for ease here, what we'll do is we'll just put a single peg here. We'll hold control and put it like that. Okay. Now select all these and select all of them going down like that. And then here. Up like that. Okay, and now these become the second input. Okay, so now you're asking what do we do with the output here? Well, the output we're going to need to mux and come back into the input of this D flip-flop. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to say either on reset it's adding the error plus one of whatever it picks up here and storing it back in, and when it's not on reset, it's taking its output and plus or one of these and storing it back in. So that's the 2 modes of operation here, and basically you're going to see that in the code right here. So we have error is either getting inc or inc s, but on reset you need to reset and initialize error to this thing right here. So that's why we're doing this. So this is our reset ability, which is coming in. And then here's the loop function on the rest. And that's why it works like that. So now we have to route this back around, and the easiest way, in my opinion, to do this would be something like this. Make it 2 wide possibly, and then use some through pegs to do a 90-degree turn here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, top to bottom, top to bottom. And now this will bring to a board of relays, which I think I would like to attach to the thing like this. Yeah. I'll do this. Well, so it's not quite every other one, but it should stack here. It should, hopefully. We'll see. We'll do it first here. So we want to connect to that. Going down. Okay, yeah, it made it. And then we'll connect here to here. Cool. And then now, of course, we want all the control pegs selected. And we want this being done when it's not on reset. So we want a inverter on top of this. Tie it there and bring that to reset. Or would it be more sanitary to bring it there or there? Yeah, I guess we'll do that. Okay. Wait. So since the way these work, they're normally open, we want to actually not power, so we want that to be a buffer. So on this one, which one are we doing right now? Oh, we're taking that. Oh yeah, so we don't want to take this. Oh no, so I had it right. Yeah, we want the inverter. We want that not powered. Not true right now. We're in the reset state. That's true. So don't take the output and instead take the reset state and allow that to be written into the input here on the clock. Which means if we have a clock, boom, we have to tie that to here. Maybe we can do this and do that. Beautiful. Okay. So now we have our reset set up here, and now we just need to work out the conditions for these CMPT and INCD enables, and we can just bring the control architect form like this. Wow, that actually reached, holy shit. Anyway, so now we'll figure out what we need to do to get that. Alright guys, so what we got to do now is, if we check out the algorithm here, we have to check if error is greater than or equal to 0, or it's not, right? So, to do that, error is this register that we have right here. And the output of that register is connected to these pegs. So if we can, it would be really ideal if we could just, actually, maybe we'll just grab some buffers like this. And yes, beautiful. So if we can do this for all 12 bits and bring a buffer across like that. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Is that? I'll just make sure we got it along. Hold control. Down. And we'll hold control and go down. I don't know what the hell just happened. Alright, maybe we'll do it by hand. So basically we're going to be comparing this to 0. And that's really easy to do. So we want 3 AND gates coming out, or 2 AND gates, and then a NOT gate. And actually we'll move these down a bit. Actually we back up how we had them, and we'll just extend that board up a little bit. Okay. And then we'll put a board like that, and we'll put a inverter on it like that, so we have all the pegs available to us. Okay, so now the idea here is we want to generate flags. We want this one to be equal to 0. So how do we know when it's equal to 0? This would be on when all of these are off. So in this case right now, we tie all those to there. It's on because all those are off. Beautiful. It's 0. That's telling us it's 0. Now, how do we tell if it's greater than? Well, we know it's going to be not 0. So we know that there's going to be a result, and that the sign should be either positive or negative. So since we know that this is the sign bit, what we can really do is pull that down one, put an inverter in parallel with it, and get both the sign and the inverse sign, like this, so that we don't lose any, like we keep it synced. Okay, so now that we have both the sign and the non-sign available to us, we can tie one to whatever input it'll reach, and then this one to the respective other one, and it of course doesn't reach any. If there's an ETH for that, we can do this. Okay, so now we have if the sign is true there and if the sign isn't true there, and then we want to tie all these to 0 here. And we want all of them without the sign, obviously, so we start from here. Go down. And we'll tie that. Boom. We'll do all the same thing here. And we will tie that there. So now we have it telling us that it's equal to 0. Let's put a switch here. Now we'll put in a value that's like really large. We should say it's greater than 0. So this is A is greater than 0 here. So what we can do is bring up some pegs here. And on this side we'll say A greater than 0. Here is obviously equal to 0. And then we're going to say A is less than 0. And how do we know if it's less than 0? Well, the sign bit is on. So how do we put the sign bit on? We just tie that there, and then boom. Now we know it's less than 0. So now we have all of our signs. Now we can move on to the next part. Alright, so if we look at the algorithm here, we want to check for greater than or equal to 0 or not 0. Or not that. So basically we want to tie greater than or equal to together, and then we will do that like that. Now what we will do is get rid of our test input here that we have going on. And instead we will clock it with the reset true. Beautiful. So now you can see that the program counter updated with 3 here, and with hopefully whatever this number is there. Well, yeah, perfect. Oh wait, no, that's our input, so the output is there. Yep, okay, there we go. So that's good. Now over here it should have initialized the reset coordinates, which should have been, okay, cool, that's reset to that. And then this is the reset value that came through and clocked it there. Perfect. So now it's looking at the output of this, and it's saying this value is positive or equal to 0. And now what do we do on it? Well, when it's positive or equal to 0 on this inc_d, we want to do, or on error, we want to grab inc_d. So what we want is inc_d here gets this. So maybe the smartest way to do this would be a, can I hold control, place that in between? No? Okay, so maybe we'll do this instead. Make it tall. And then T, bring it across. Yeah, this should work here. Bring them up like this. Okay, so we want inc_d when this is true, and we want inc_s when that is true. Cool. So you can see it's still taking the reset value. The value coming into here is the reset value, and it isn't coming through past here. You can see this is a different value than what's on that side. Beautiful. But there's more that we need to do with this now. That also controls, not only does it control this inc_d loop, you can see it also controls whether or not we need to increment or decrement the program counters. So we need to go over to the program counters and put an enable on their clock pin that will say we're either allowing you to increment or decrement, or we're not, depending on the state of error, and also depending on the state of this XAY value that we generated way back here. So let's do that next. Alright guys, so now what we have to do is we have to get the rest of the control logic on to enable or disable these counters on a clock. So the way I would like to implement this, and I think the easiest way, is to probably just extend this up here, place a relay on it like that, and we're going to basically it's hard to see, but it's right there. You want to grab that line, delete it because it was connected to that plotter, or what's it called, buffer. Yeah. And we're going to connect this up here to this relay. The other end of this relay is then going to come from the clock input from this buffer. And now we can actually move that back so it's not like complicated like that. Okay. And actually, instead of using a relay, we're actually going to ignore that. We're going to use an AND gate instead, like this. And we'll bring the control input to the other end up like that. Okay, so we're going to do it like that. And now we'll extend this up as well. Yep, that looks fine. Maybe up one more. How high? This is up. I don't know what. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not the fourth one. So we're at 1, 2, 3. That should go up one more. And then be placed on this top. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're definitely up too high, aren't we? Yeah, we'll go down. We'll call it here. Anyway, we'll do the same thing. The input here will be from this. The output here will go to here. And now we can control whether or not that is enabled based on the state of this and XAY. So basically what I wanted was XAY, which is this flag. We can say we want XAY or not XAY. So this here, which is both of those, or not that, which is so we'll say that's not XAY, and hopefully we can tie it there somehow. Okay, so we want XAY going to IncX to enable IncX. So when this is true, we want to enable it on this side. And then when this is true, I can pull it like this, we want to enable it on this side. But not only do we need that, we need these, we need the if these statements as well. So now we want to bring if error is greater than or equal to 0 to both of them as well. So we want this here. Now hopefully this will reach, but if it doesn't, the smarter way to do it is we can grab it from here because it's the same, and we can bring it to here. Oh, but that will diode backwards. That will OR everything backwards. Well, that's true with that will. So ideally, we want it straight from this. Here's what we can do. Okay, so we'll bring it up to a brand new point. We'll grab a mount. Put a peg on top of it and grab straight from that. So there's no ORing back from that at all. We have the greater than or equal to, and I'll just move that over a little bit and Control G, yep, and then we'll grab the not. Oh, actually we don't even need that. Why'd I do that? Hopefully I didn't delete something important right there. We'll find out. Anyway, so this should now reach to here, and it shouldn't cause backflow issues. Right? Yeah, because it's connected to that. XAY is. Let's double check what XAY is. Is it greater than or equal to? Oh, it's just greater than. So if it's less than or equal to, okay. So we have less than or equal to that goes there. But the reason that's true is but it's not backflowing and affecting anything there. Now let's see if this is backflowing and affecting anything. That's fine. I think we're good here. I think that's good control logic to maximize speed on this. So now we have our control logic set up here to control which side gets what. So theoretically now if we undo the reset line, this should work, and it should stop when we get to this value. So let's test it.